You say you're on Trump's hate list. How did you get on there? And are you uncomfortable being hated by the President of the United States? That's a tough one. Donald Trump Jr. said to me when I did one of my tours of duty on Celebrity Apprentice that I was the only one he ever met who seemed to like his father. I get along with his father fairly well on Apprentice because I have a great deal of tolerance for those who are off the bell curve. So Trump lacks filters because he lacks shame and lacks morality. And when we were working on a TV show that was silly and stupid and didn't mean anything, I thought there was a certain amount of, charm is not the right word, there's no charm. There's a little bit of interest. And then it turned out that a lot of America seemed to believe that show that wasn't true. Maybe I was part of that. I knew Trump was a dipshit. I knew he was a loser, brought Atlantic City into bankruptcy. I knew that he was a joke, but I called him Mr. Trump on TV. And for that, I will always feel guilty. He's the only person I've ever seen who never made a joke and never laughed at a joke. And he couldn't tap his foot to music. When music would play, his foot wouldn't move. That's really rare. There are some deep problems with Trump. Who else had money in the 80s living in New York City and never bought one piece of art? Jesus Christ, what a f***ing fool. But I liked working with him because I'll work with anybody, you know. And then he was running for president. And they asked me on the show if I would endorse him running for president. I said, absolutely not. And then I made some comments. One of my favorite things I said about him is trying to explain art to Donald Trump is like trying to explain art to Donald Trump. And then I also said that his hair looked like cotton candy made of piss. And the night that he announced his candidacy, I went on MSNBC and I was, I think, tremendously kind. I said that although I liked working with Trump on Celebrity Apprentice, I didn't think he'd be a good president. And Trump went crazy on Twitter, which is the fact that the president, I think it's one of my favorite comebacks I've ever had, was he said that I was completely unknown before I went on Celebrity Apprentice. And I pointed out to him that the name of the show is Celebrity Apprentice. Anyway, that struck me funny. So the New York Times in 2016 put together a hate list of Donald Trump's based on the frequency and the venom of his tweets. I was number 7 of the most hated of the person who was to become president of the United States. If you want a perspective on that, Hillary Clinton is number 8.